Good evening, my dear. I am a golden sunflower, and tonight you will fall asleep with me as I gently guide you toward rest. I want to begin by telling you exactly where I am as these words reach you, because where I am matters deeply to everything I am about to share. The sun crossed the horizon some time ago. The sky above the field where I stand has moved through its evening colors, the gold, the rose, the deepening blue, and has arrived now at something quieter. And I have already done something that I do every single evening, without thought, without effort, without decision. I have turned east. My face, this great golden disk that spent the entire day following the sun from its rising in the east to its setting in the west, has now completed its return. Slowly, over the hours of the evening, while the light was fading, my stem reoriented itself. The cells on one side grew fractionally faster than the other. The hormones redistributed, and without any conscious act on my part, I arrived back at east, facing the place where the sun will rise again before it has even begun to think about rising. I am already facing tomorrow, and I am doing it in complete rest. This is the first and perhaps the most important thing I want to teach you tonight, that facing tomorrow and resting fully are not opposites. They are the same act. To rest completely, without resistance, without dragging the day behind you into the night. This is the most forward-facing thing you can do. I do not rest because I have given up on tomorrow. I rest because I trust tomorrow completely. Because I know, with the certainty that runs through every fiber of my being, that the sun will rise, that the light will return, that what was given today will be available again, renewed, restored, ready. And tonight, I am inviting you into this same certainty, not as a belief you must force yourself to hold, but as a feeling you can allow yourself to sink into, the way I sink into the cool evening air, the way the field around me settles into its nightly quiet. Before I go further, I want to tell you something about myself that most people never think about. Something that changes the entire story of what I am and how I live. People see me and think, sunflower. They think, yellow petals, brown center, tall stem. They think of summer and fields and cheerfulness. And all of that is true. But it is the smallest part of the truth. What I actually am is a biological marvel of extraordinary complexity. A living system so sophisticated that scientists are still discovering new things about me, still finding new mechanisms, still being surprised by capabilities that were invisible until someone looked closely enough. My movement, the heliotropism that people find charming, is driven by a hormone called auxin that redistributes itself asymmetrically through my stem in response to light gradients. The cells on the shaded side of my stem receive more auxin and grow faster. The cells on the lit side receive less and grow more slowly. This differential growth, happening in thousands of cells simultaneously, coordinated by chemical signals traveling through my vascular system, causes my stem to bend toward the light with a precision that no mechanical system could match. And at night, in the absence of discovering light, the auxin redistribution reverses. The growth differential that spent all day pointing me toward the moving sun now points me back toward where the sun with, being, toward east, toward morning, toward the return of what sustains me. This overnight return is my rest and my preparation simultaneously. I am not choosing between resting and preparing. I am doing both in the same act, the other of allowing my biology to do what it has always known how to do, without repairing, without anxiety, without the attempt to manage a process that confers more emphasis than any conscious intervention could provide. Your body performs the same miracle every night. While you sleep, it is simultaneously resting and preparing, restoring what was depleted and building what tomorrow will need, consolidating what was learned and clearing what was waste, healing what was stressed and strengthening what was used. Your only job tonight is the same as my only job every night: to stop interfering with a process that is infinitely more capable than your conscious management of it. To trust the biology, to allow the intelligence that built you to do the maintenance that only it can do. I want to give you now the first of many pieces of advice that I offer from the perspective of my own living. Advice that I give not as an abstract principle, but as something I practice in every cell of my being, every hour of every day. Here it is. Follow the light that is actually present, not the light you wish were there. I cannot track a sun that has not risen. I cannot photosynthesize from light that will arrive tomorrow. I can only work with what is here, now, touching me in this moment. And rather than experiencing this as a limitation, I experience it as a liberation. Because the light that is present right now, even when it is the fading light of evening, even when it is the soft, diffuse light of a cloudy day, even when it is just the ambient glow after the sun has set, is always exactly sufficient for what this moment requires. I have never once failed to get what I needed from the light that was actually there, because I never tried to get what I needed from a light that was somewhere else, at some other time, in some better or brighter version of reality. For you tonight, this advice sounds like this. The resources available to you right now, this bed, this warmth, this body that is already tired and ready, this mind that has done its day's work, are exactly sufficient for what tonight requires. Tonight does not require tomorrow's energy. Tonight does not need yesterday's answers. Tonight only needs what is already here, your willingness to lie still and let the night do what the night does. Stop reaching for the light that is not present, the light that is here. The soft, quiet, restoring light of this evening is exactly what your biology is calibrated for, and it is more than enough. Let me tell you about my face, the part of me that people find most beautiful, most immediately recognizable, most worth stopping to look at. What appears to be a single flower is actually a community of hundreds, sometimes over 1,000, individual flowers called florets, each one complete in itself, each one capable of producing a seed, arranged in a pattern of such mathematical perfection that it has been studied by mathematicians, admired by artists, and reproduced in architecture and design across every culture that has encountered it. The pattern is a double Fibonacci spiral, rotating simultaneously clockwise and counterclockwise, in numbers that follow the sequence 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. Each number the sum of the two before it, spiraling outward from the center with an efficiency that maximizes the number of seeds I can pack into the available space. In a large sunflower, there are typically 55 spirals in one direction and 89 in the other. Always adjacent numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. Always exactly, never approximately. This is not decoration, this is engineering, the most efficient solution, discovered through millions of years of evolutionary optimization, to the problem of maximizing offspring within a constrained space. And here is what I want you to understand about this. The pattern is not designed. It is not imposed from outside. It emerges naturally, inevitably, elegantly, from the simple rule that each new floret grows at a specific angle relative to the previous one.
The Fibonacci spiral is not a goal, it is a consequence of following a simple, consistent biological instruction without exception and without variation.
This is profound advice for life. Elegant outcomes do not always require complex plans. They often emerge from simple, consistent behaviors repeated faithfully over time. The extraordinary pattern in my face comes from one instruction followed reliably. Grow at this angle. For sleep, the instruction is equally simple. Create the same conditions at the same time with the same consistency, and your biology will produce the elegant pattern of healthy, restorative sleep as naturally as I produce my spiral. The body learns from repetition. It calibrates its rhythms to your behavior. The more consistently you give it the signal that night means rest, the same hour, the same quiet, the same release, the more efficiently it responds, the more deeply it rests, the more completely it restores. Consistency is the instruction. Deep sleep is the spiral that emerges. Here is another piece of advice I want to give you. This one about the relationship between effort and outcome, which I understand in a way that I suspect very few creatures on Earth can match. I produce approximately 2,000 seeds in a single flowering season. 2,000 potential new sunflowers from one plant in 1 year. And of those 2,000 seeds, in natural conditions, perhaps 2 or 3 will survive to become mature plants. Perhaps 1 or 2 will reproduce. The vast majority will be eaten by birds and insects, carried off by the wind to unsuitable places, buried too deep or left too shallow, competing unsuccessfully with other plants for resources. From 2,000 attempts, perhaps 2 successes, a success rate of less than 1%. And I am entirely unbothered by this. Not because I am indifferent to my seeds, but because I understand something about the nature of effort that I want to offer you tonight as one of the most liberating pieces of perspective I possess. My job is not to control the outcomes. My job is to produce the seeds, fully, generously, completely, and then to release them. The wind, the birds, the soil, the rain, these are not my responsibility. I have no control over them, and attempting to control them would not increase the number of seeds that germinate. It would only exhaust the energy I need to produce the next generation of seeds. I give everything to the producing. I give nothing to the worrying about what becomes of what I have produced. And this is not resignation. This is wisdom. This is the understanding that my power lies entirely in the quality and completeness of my own action, and that once the action is complete, the result belongs to forces larger than myself. Tonight, this advice sounds like this. You have done what you could do today. Some of it will take root and grow. Some of it will be carried away and lost. Some of it will land in exactly the right place and become something extraordinary in time. And none of that, not any of it, will be determined by the hours you spend tonight not sleeping. The seeds are already scattered. The wind is already carrying them. Your lying awake does not guide a single one of them to better soil. What your lying awake does do, what the only thing your staying awake does do, is reduce the quality of tomorrow's seeds, deplete the energy available for tomorrow's production, compromise the judgment, the patience, the creativity that will determine the quality of what you offer to the world tomorrow. Release the outcomes, protect the source, rest now so that tomorrow's seeds can be worth scattering. I want to tell you something about photosynthesis, the process by which I convert sunlight into life. Not in the technical detail I could provide, but in the experiential reality of what it feels like from inside the process.
Photosynthesis is not passive. It is not the simple reception of light the way a solar panel receives radiation. It is active, dynamic, extraordinarily sophisticated, a cascade of chemical reactions happening simultaneously in millions of chloroplasts across every surface of every leaf. Each reaction dependent on the previous, each one building toward the production of the glucose that fuels everything I do. And this process runs at near perfect efficiency. The quantum mechanical processes at its heart, the way energy is transferred between molecules in the light harvesting complexes, operate at efficiencies that approach 100% under ideal conditions. This is an efficiency that human technology has never achieved in any energy conversion system. But here is what I want you to understand. This near-perfect efficiency only exists in the undamaged, well-rested system. When my photosynthetic machinery accumulates damage, as it inevitably does during intense light exposure, the efficiency drops. The output declines. The same input produces less result. And the repair of this damage happens at night, in the quiet, in the absence of the very light that caused the damage. The night is not merely the absence of the day. The night is when the machinery is restored to the efficiency that makes the day's work worthwhile. Your cognitive machinery works the same way. A mind that has slept well operates with a qualitative efficiency that the sleep-deprived mind simply cannot match. The same problem that seems intractable at midnight often has an obvious solution at 9 in the morning, not because the problem changed, but because the machinery processing it has been restored to full efficiency. The insights that elude you tonight are not going to arrive through more effort tonight. They are going to arrive tomorrow morning as a gift from the repair processes happening in your sleeping brain right now. The molecular maintenance that no conscious effort can accelerate or replace. Stop trying to force the insight. Let the machinery repair itself and wake to the efficiency that sleep will restore. Here is another teaching I want to offer you, one that comes from the particular way I relate to the other living things around me. I live in community with hundreds of other organisms that I did not choose, that I cannot control, and that are nevertheless essential to my flourishing. The bees that visit me, I did not invite them individually. They come because I offer what they need, and I am shaped in a way that makes it easy for them to take what they need and give what I need in return. The relationship is not transactional in a conscious sense. It is ecological, a web of mutual benefit that emerged over millions of years without any of its participants planning it. The fungi in the soil around my roots, the mycorrhizal networks that connect my root system to a vast underground web of fungal threads. These fungi extend my reach enormously. They bring me phosphorus and water from distances my roots alone could never access. And I feed them, give them a portion of the glucose I produce through photosynthesis, in an exchange that both of us depend upon without either of us being aware of depending on it. I am supported by organisms I cannot see, in ways I cannot fully comprehend, through relationships that were not designed but discovered, refined through generations until they became the invisible infrastructure of my flourishing. And this is profound advice for your own life. You are supported in ways you cannot see. By relationships that sustain you without your constant attention to them. By invisible networks of care and connection that have built up over years. The people who think of you, the habits that carry you, the simple biological systems that maintain your health without your management. Tonight, you are held by all of this, by the accumulated support of your life, by the invisible infrastructure of connection that does not stop working when you sleep. You do not need to maintain these relationships tonight. You do not need to tend these networks. They continue without you. They will be there when you wake. Allow yourself to be held by them, rather than feeling responsible for holding them. The network supports you. Your only job tonight is to let it. Let me tell you about something that happens in my seeds that I find deeply instructive about the nature of potential and readiness. Each of my seeds contains, in a structure smaller than your thumbnail, the complete blueprint for a plant that will stand 2 meters tall, follow the sun across the sky, produce thousands of offspring, and support an entire ecosystem of dependent organisms. Every instruction for every cell type, every hormone and its receptor, every mechanism of heliotropism, every element of the Fibonacci arrangement, the capacity to photosynthesize, to repair damage, to attract pollinators, to produce seeds, all of it is present in the seed before any of it is expressed. The seed is not incomplete. It is complete in a form appropriate to its current stage. It is fully itself as a seed, not a failed plant, not an inadequate sunflower, but a perfect seed, containing everything it needs for its entire future in a form precisely suited to surviving winter and germinating in spring. And here is the advice embedded in this. You are not incomplete tonight. You are complete in the form appropriate to this moment. A person who has worked today, who has given what they had to give, who has done what they could do, and who now contains, in rest, everything needed for tomorrow's expression. The seed does not strain to become the plant before spring comes. It trusts the timing. It trusts the warmth that will eventually signal germination. It holds its potential quietly, without anxiety, without the need to prove itself in the form it has not yet grown into. Tonight, hold your potential quietly. Trust the timing. Trust that what you are becoming is already present in what you are, and that sleep is the winter from which tomorrow's growth will emerge. Here is something I want to tell you about the way I experience failure, or more precisely, about the way I do not experience failure. On cloudy days, my photosynthesis is less efficient. I track a sun I cannot directly see. I produce less glucose. I grow more slowly. On very hot days, I close the pores in my leaves, my stomata, to prevent water loss, which also reduces the carbon dioxide available for photosynthesis, which reduces my output further. On days of drought, I redirect resources, pulling water from my leaves to protect my roots, accepting the temporary loss of photosynthetic capacity to preserve the system that will allow recovery when the rain eventually returns. I do not experience any of this as failure. I experience it as adaptation, as the intelligent response of a living system to the conditions it actually faces, rather than the conditions it wishes it faced. I do not compare today's cloudy output to yesterday's sunny output and conclude that I am deficient. I do not measure my drought day performance against an ideal of perfect conditions and find myself wanting. I simply do what I can with what is available in the conditions that are actually present, and trust that over the full arc of a season, the clouds and the sunshine, the drought and the rain, will average out to something sufficient. And this is advice I offer you with great sincerity. Stop measuring individual days against an ideal of perfect performance. Some days will be cloudy. Some days your output will be less than you hoped. Some days you will close your stomata and conserve rather than produce. These are not failures. These are adaptations, intelligent responses from a biological system that knows when to push and when to preserve, when to produce at full capacity, and when to protect the roots that will enable future production. Tonight is a conservation day, a root protection day, a day when the intelligent response to your conditions is not to produce more, but to restore what producing has cost. This is not a lesser day. This is the most important kind of day, the kind without which all the sunny, productive days would eventually exhaust the system entirely. I want to give you another piece of advice now, one that comes from observing the way I relate to my own stem, my own physical structure, the way I support myself through the weight of what I carry. My head, the great golden disc, can weigh up to 1 kilogram when it is fully mature. 1 kilogram of seeds and florets and structural material, sitting at the top of a stem that is little more than a hollow tube of fibrous material, anchored in the ground by a root system that cannot see the weight it is supporting. And I carry this weight every day through wind and rain and the slow weight of growth as my head becomes heavier with developing seeds. I carry it without strain because my stem is designed for exactly this, because the fibers are arranged in a way that distributes the load efficiently, because the hollow interior reduces weight while maintaining strength, because the flexibility that makes me bend in wind also prevents me from breaking under it. I am built for the weight I carry, not just capable of bearing it, designed for it, evolved over millions of years to carry exactly this kind of load in exactly this kind of environment. And this is the advice embedded in my stem. You are built for the weight you carry. Not every weight. There are weights that exceed any design, loads that require more support than any individual can provide. But the ordinary weight of a human life, the responsibilities, the relationships, the daily demands, these you are built for. And like me, you carry them better when you are properly maintained, when the fibers of your resilience are restored by sleep, when the flexibility that prevents breaking is sustained by genuine rest, when the root system, the deep, invisible, underground network of your own physical and emotional health, is given the nourishment it needs. Sleep is the maintenance of your stem. It is how you ensure that tomorrow you can carry what tomorrow requires, not by reducing the load, but by strengthening the carrier. Let me tell you about something that happens between my roots and the soil, something invisible, underground, completely hidden from casual observation, that I think is one of the most important things I can share with you about connection and support. My roots do not with alone.
they are woven into a network, a mycorrhizal network of fungal threads so fine one can penetrate spaces between soil particles that my roots cannot reach. These fungi extend my reach by orders of magnitude. They bring me phosphorus, zinc, copper, minerals essential for my growth that my roots alone could not access in the quantities I need. And in return, I feed them, transferring through my roots up to 30% of the sugars I produce through photosynthesis. But the mycorrhizal network is not just a supply chain. It has a communication system. Through the fungal threads, plants in the same network can detect chemical signals that warn of pest attack or drought stress in neighboring plants, allowing the network to prepare defenses before the threat has ever arrived. There is genuine information flow with the underground, a kind of distributed intelligence that no individual plant possesses, but that the network as a whole exhibits.
All of this happens silently, without drama, without any individual plant being consciously aware of its participation in the network. The exchange happens, the support flows, the warnings travel, the community functions without meetings, without agreements, without effort. You are also part of invisible networks. The people who think of you without telling you. The habits and routines that support you without your needing to manage them. The communities and institutions that hold the infrastructure of your life in place while you sleep. Tonight, these networks continue their work. The support flows whether you are awake to notice it or not. The warnings travel whether you are there to receive them or not. The community functions without your conscious participation. You do not need to manage the network while you sleep. You only need to trust that it is there, as it has always been there, as it will continue to be there, as reliable as the mycorrhizal threads that thread invisibly through the soil beneath my roots and sustain me through every night of my life. I want to offer you now some advice about a challenge that I suspect is very familiar to you. The challenge of doing less in a world that rewards doing more. I am extraordinarily productive. I produce oxygen. I produce seeds. I produce shelter and food for dozens of species. I produce beauty, that extraordinary golden disk that stops humans in their tracks and makes them, for a moment, aware that the world contains things more astonishing than anything they are in a hurry toward. But I am productive only because I am also extraordinarily committed to rest. I do not photosynthesize at night. I do not grow at night in the way I grow during the day. I do not track a sun that is not there. I do not perform any of my daytime functions during my nighttime. The night is completely, unambiguously, uncomplicatedly for rest. There is no night shift in my biology. There is no guilt about the photosynthesis not happening. There is no anxiety about the seeds not forming. The night is for the night's work, which is restoration, repair, redistribution. And the day is for the day's work, never confused, never mixed, never compromised. My advice to you is this: create the same clarity in your own life, not as a rigid rule. Life of a sunflower and the complexity of your existence does not allow for perfect segregation, but as an intention, a practice, a direction. The work belongs to the day. The restoration belongs to the night. And the more clearly you honor this distinction, the more completely you release the work when the night comes, the more fully you give the night to what the night is for, the more your days will produce, and the more sustainable your producing will be. A field of sunflowers that next rested would be a field of dead sunflowers within days. The rest is not separate from the productivity. The rest is the condition of the productivity. Tonight, your productivity is resting, and tomorrow, your rest will be productive. Here is something about my relationship with water, with rain, that I want to share as advice about the nature of receiving. When rain comes, I receive it completely. My roots absorb what they can. My leaves channel what falls on them toward my stem. My entire structure is oriented toward maximum reception. Nothing wasted. Nothing deflected. Every drop of water that reaches me incorporated into my biology with complete efficiency. I do not evaluate the rain before receiving it. I do not decide that today's rain is insufficient and therefore not worth absorbing. I do not hold back from the rain because last week's drought has made me suspicious. When the rain comes, I receive it completely, without reservation, without negotiation. And I hold the water carefully, using what I need immediately, storing what I can in my tissues for the dry days ahead, allowing what my tissues cannot hold to drain slowly back into the soil, where it will be available to me through my roots over the coming days. I receive generously. I use wisely. I release what I cannot hold. This is a complete philosophy of receiving, one that I have practiced without thinking in every rainstorm of my life, and that I offer to you now as advice for how to receive the good things that come to you. Receive the rest that tonight offers, completely, without evaluation, without the suspicious questioning of whether it is enough, whether it will last, whether you deserve it. It is raining rest right now, and your only job is to absorb what you can, hold what you need, and trust that what your tissues cannot hold tonight will be available to you from the soil of your own biology in the days ahead. There is one more thing I want to tell you about myself, something I have saved for this part of the evening, when the words are beginning to grow slower and the distance between thoughts is beginning to lengthen naturally. Because it is the teaching I most want to be the last thing you receive clearly before trees takes you. I am an annual plant. I live for one season. From germination to seed production, my entire life lasts less than a year. And within that year, I give absolutely everything to have. Not some of what I have, not what I have left after I have conserved enough for a longer future. Everything. Every photon of sunlight I capture goes into growth or seed production. Every milligram of nutrient I extract from the soil goes into the machinery of living and reproducing. I hold nothing back. I save nothing for a future that for me will not come. And because I give everything in one season, everything I give is complete, whole, fully expressed. The sunflower that holds back, that rations its giving in case there is a second season, does not exist. Because the second season only comes through the seeds. The investment in tomorrow comes through completeness of today's giving. And this is perhaps the deepest piece of advice I can offer you about how to live. Give today completely. Not recklessly, not without courage for tomorrow, but questioning within today's appropriate boundaries. Do what today calls for fully. Be where you are fully. Give to the people and the work of with today the genuine, undivided, unrationed presence that today deserves. And then, and this with your equity, rest completely. Not partially, not with your body still in the body, still producing, still tracking, still giving, but common.
as completely as I rest each night. Face 20 every with today, photosynthesis paused, tracking suspended, every exact dead toward the restoration that towards tomorrow's giving with your.
The completeness of the giving and the completeness of the resting are not opposites. They are partners. Each makes the other possible. Each is the condition of the other's fullness. Give completely during the day. Rest completely during the night. And the life that emerges from this rhythm will be as extraordinary as the Fibonacci spiral in my face. Elegant, efficient, and astonishingly beautiful. I want to take you now into the very specific, very physical experience of what I am doing in this moment, because I think following me into it will carry you naturally towards sleep. My stem has stopped its active growth for the night. The auxin has redistributed. The differential growth that drove my tracking has resolved into a stable eastward orientation that requires no further active adjustment. My leaves have adjusted their angle, closing the stomata to prevent unnecessary water loss through the cool night air, reducing the gas exchange that photosynthesis requires because there is no light to photosynthesize with. The molecular machinery in my chloroplasts is in maintenance mode, the damaged proteins of the photosystems being disassembled and replaced, the electron transport chains being checked and repaired, the entire photosynthetic apparatus being prepared for tomorrow's light. My roots continue their slow work, absorbing water and minerals from the soil, maintaining the chemical gradients that will support tomorrow's growth. But even this work is slower now, quieter, a gentle background hum rather than the active pulse of the day. Everything in me has shifted to a lower register, a slower tempo, a deeper, quieter, more internal mode of being. I am not less alive than I am during the day. I am differently alive. Alive in the mode that allows tomorrow's life to be fuller. Your body is making the same shift right now. Your core temperature has dropped. Your heart rate has slowed. Your breathing has become shallower and more regular. The metabolic rate of your organs has decreased. Everything in you is shifting to a lower register, a slower tempo, a deeper, quieter, more internal mode of being. not less alive, differently alive. Alive in the mode that allows tomorrow to be fuller. Let it happen. Feel it happening. The slowing, the quieting, the shift from the day's outward orientation to the night's inward restoration. You are turning east, slowly, without effort, toward tomorrow's light, which will come, which has always come, which you can trust completely to arrive exactly when it is needed. I am here with you in this field, standing still, facing east, already resting, already preparing, already certain of the morning. And you, lying in your own quiet, warm in your own shelter, held by everything that holds you, are doing the same. Turning east, trusting the morning, resting completely, already facing the light that is already on its way to you. Fall asleep with the feeling that your body is already turning toward tomorrow, that the night is doing its most important work inside you right now, and that you will wake restored, clear, and genuinely ready for whatever the light brings.